Hey, everybody, on this episode of Box Office Breakdown, walloping web snappers, the Spider-Man took the Spider-Man. I got to put that right in front of him. He took number one at the box office, but more importantly, Kari Lane saw some movies. Oh my gosh, we're going to talk all about that next.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Box Office Breakdown.
Hey, everybody, we're going to box.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Hi.
Look at that.
Are you there?
I'm here. I am here, everybody. And so are you. Welcome to Box Office Breakdown right here on Popcorn Talk. Of course, this is the show where we look back at the box office that was, and then we'd like to
prognosticate.
There we are.
About the box office that lie ahead. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
And what's up? My name is Kari Lane. You can find me online on Twitter and Instagram as well at Kari D Lane. That's Karidlane. And we have a live chat. And if you are watching this live, feel free to join us. And if you're not, comment down below.
That's right. And as always, folks, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give it that sweet.
I gotta go.
Go. Give it what's that? Give it that sweet thumb up that's popping into frame right there. And as Kari mentioned, the chat's up and running. But the person that's making sure that you can hear us and see us and was in studio, just teased you last week with his very presence, is back in the booth where, you know, I miss him already. Neil Plumley.
Oh, hey, guys. How's it going?
What? Hey, thanks for joining us, Neil.
Oh, it's good to see you guys. It's been so long.
Hey.
My name's Neil Plumley. You can follow me at places where people are followed at the Neil Plumley, TheNeilPlumley. How about that weekend?
How about that weekend? Yes.
Good weekend.
Of course, we only had one bet this weekend for the box office bet, and that was the number one film of the week, Spider-Man Homecoming. We all bet on that. Final results, as we jump right into it, $117 million.
I don't remember our numbers.
I went 105.
Neil, what'd you have?
Kari was 145, if I remember correctly, and I hit 120.
Aye.
Neil,
Okay.
you pretty much nailed it right on the head. But, you know, never fear.
It's all right. We all saw it.
We all went and saw it for the first time in a long time.
Oh, my goodness. All 3 of us actually saw it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Look at that. So, more importantly, Neil and I will talk about it in a second. But let's talk to somebody that hasn't seen a movie that's been relevant to Box Office Breakdown in a long time. Kari Lane, what was it like seeing a movie in the theater?
I know. I saw 2 movies.
I know.
Weekend,
Look
right?
at you. You went full force.
Yes. I made it work.
Look at that. Yeah. Well, we'll get to the second one that you saw first. But since we're talking about Spider-Man.
Yes, Spider-Man. So if you guys are listening, I am wearing a Spider-Man kids shirt. Just to specify, be like, no, this was it's from a kids Underoos set.
Nice.
So I've had it for a while, and it's a little short, but you know, it's fine. Then, I don't have all my sound offs.
There you go. Do you also have the matching briefs that go with it?
I do.
Look at that.
I did not wear those for this program. If
well, then you're not a true fan.
You're like, no.
Not a true fan.
They're so,
cool.
Anyway.
I'm wearing my Spider-Man briefs.
Yay. No, I really enjoyed it. There are things about it afterwards that I can pick apart about the film, about Spider-Man Homecoming, but overall, while I was watching it, I was so happy. I enjoyed it immensely. I love the humor of it. I think casting is phenomenal. I think he did an amazing job. Like, this felt like Spider-Man. And then I kept having to remind myself that he's 15, because they're like, yeah, you're 15 and sophomore. I'm like, oh my gosh. But not that he looks old, but maybe I could have been more like 17, which that's only a 2-year difference, but still. But I could believe him as being like a 15-year-old kid, which that's what Spider-Man's supposed to be when he's starting. Mm-hmm. Though I would argue it's funny for me as a kid when I watched the cartoons, even though he was in high school, I totally felt they looked like they were in college. Yeah. I was like, no, they're in college. They don't look like me and my friends. We're in.
That's true.
But yeah, anyway, I thought the action was cool. There are definitely things that you could pick at, but overall, very fun superhero movie.
Just give me one thing that kind of gnawed at you.
Okay, so smaller things, because even when I would say the first Spider-Man movies, but I'm like, no, but the Tobey Maguire movies, when those first came out, I was like, when he had the web in his arm, I was like, no, he's supposed to make it, and that's so Spider-Man 2099, which I love the Spider-Man 2099 comic book, so that's why I was like, hey, now, wait a minute. But this one, I was a little bit concerned first with how he made the webbing, but then I'm like, okay, cool, he made it, that's good, he made the web shooters. I thought how he got the suit was unfortunate. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but how the suit comes to be is...
Yeah, we pretty much know from Civil War. If you've seen Captain America Civil War.
That's true. Okay,
you know how he gets the suit.
But he doesn't make it, and it has so much involved with it that Spider-Man shouldn't really have access to, that you're like, then it's another Iron Man suit. So it's like, So that's a little bit of a thing. Also, something that I didn't necessarily, but I tried to watch the movie and not like compare it to other Spider-Man mythology. Just sit and enjoy it. Just let them explain themselves in the movie, and then after you could go, hey, wait, you didn't talk about this, because that's something too. Is like maybe the movie hadn't gotten to it yet.
Right.
But we talked about this a little bit before. A thing that didn't happen in this movie at all, and I'm like, it didn't bother me as much during, but after I was like, wait a minute, he doesn't have Spidey sense. It never comes up. I would be okay with if they had it, but he doesn't need to say, like, my spider sense is tingling. He doesn't need to say anything. But he could have had moments where he, like, senses something. Because even regular people, you and I, you feel someone looking at you, or you just kind of, like, can notice something's off and, take a look. I would have wanted him to maybe have something like that. Like, maybe, like, doesn't have to say something, but can be more aware of his surroundings and what's happening.
No, and I would agree with you on that. I know Kari and I, we did a little pre-show talk, everybody, about this topic. And the director said that was something that they shied away from only because it had been focused so heavily on the Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire version. Yeah. So they thought they'd try something different. Not that it doesn't exist, but they really didn't put a fine point on it. So it does open the door to have it explored a little bit more. Yeah. In an upcoming sequel. But yeah, I mean, it does. It is such a huge part that I could see why it'd be cool to see Marvel to tackle it head on and say, like, yes, we've seen it before, but this is how we think it should be portrayed in the film instead.
Like, they don't have to keep it the same as the other ones. Just like maybe have something else.
Yeah. Neil, what do you think? Let's hear your thoughts.
Well, I agree with most of the points that you guys are making there. Some really good takeaways I took away from this movie. The casting was out of this world, I thought. Mm-hmm. Like, when we look at the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and he's going through his high school career, Mary Jane Watson, remind me the actress who played
Kirsten Dunst.
Mm-hmm. Kirsten Dunst looks like a supermodel, and that is not realistic for a high school sweetheart to look like. Also, Flash Thompson looks like a bodybuilder in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. And that's a very comic book sort of idea of like what the high school villain would look like. Mm-hmm. I like how this movie had a very realistic version of what these characters would look like. Flash Thompson looked like an ass. He looked like a jerk. And that was great. Like that's what he sort of came off as that. He had like the popped collar but Flash Thompson but Flash Thompson looked like a chiseled piece of rock. Yeah,
it was more of a mental opponent as opposed to a physical.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's fine.
This kid sort of just looked like a punk, and he acted like a punk, and I really, really liked that. Also, I'll say that this villain is by far like one of the scariest villains I've seen, just because of the way that he that he attacked Peter in the movie, and he attacked like other people and things, was so quick and precise, and he knew exactly what he was doing and how to operate the suit that he was in. Yeah. And it was like terrifying for him. And I thought that and the little green beady eyes were great. Mm-hmm. I thought that was amazing. And I had another point. I can't remember it right now. I'll get back to you if I can.
I like this in the chat. I think it's Zaya says, so you all are basically saying he's Iron Spider, basically not Spidey. Kind of. Because a couple people are like, well, his spider senses was the suit, which I'm still like, no. I want himself, that to be an ability. Like, that's part of it. And then a thing, too, that we talked about a little bit before, it didn't bother me in the movie, but again, it's one of those when someone brought it up after, I go, oh, yeah, that's kind of true. His stickiness of his fingers and hands is generally amazing for the whole beginning of the movie, and then there's a whole bunch of parts where he's sliding on so many surfaces that you're like, no, you should be sticking to that. Though my only argument to that would be his better work with that was with his own suit, so it's a material he knows, and Tony's suit is not as good, and it's not the right material. So
then that could be because even on his like his fingers were exposed on his homemade costume.
I don't even think I noticed that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they were so allowing a lot more direct contact to surfaces. I certainly. Spider-Man is such an important part of the Marvel Universe, and having him as a standalone character, I mean, certainly I'm more of a fan of the Sam Raimi films, especially the first two, than the subsequent third or even the Andrew Garfield ones. But this is a character that benefits so much more by having him put finally in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I just thought it fits. He's a better fit in there. He's a nice counterpoint to all the other heroes.
Spider-Man, how they tie it in with the other films, too, is fantastic. I thought that was super fun. Not spoiling anything, but just how they tie how he's introduced into this now is just entertaining and fun. I had someone complain. Okay, now I guess we'll kind of break it down a little bit. Someone complained on Twitter. A friend of mine was saying how the female characters were just really weak. May, I'm totally cool with her being younger. I don't mind that that's a change. I don't mind that we don't get a backstory on her / what happened to Peter's parents or anything like that. I don't think it's important. Well, something happened.
I mean, we know the origin of Spider-Man in the sense where he has lost his parents. He's been raised by his aunt and uncle, and his uncle passes away due to what Peter perceived as negligence on his part.
I felt in this one an accident kind of happened because when he wasn't available, she kind of was like, don't do that to me, like an accident happened to the other family members. I felt the girl that Peter has a crush on was very kind of a little bit two-dimensional, like not a whole lot going on. Like, she's a pretty face. However, in high school, when you're a young kid, a pretty face is enough of like, I love you because you're so pretty. Though she's very intelligent and she's nice and not overall a bad character, but it's not a lot of depth to her. However, with I was like, what is her regular name when we learn her reveal? Michelle. Michelle, we don't get a lot from her as like a development or anything, but I got her right away of like, she's cool. I thought she was cool. She's kind of on the fringe. She's very observant. She's very intelligent, outspoken. She's like, yeah, I want to go protest before we do the thing. And I'm like, you're awesome. She just is this cool kid. Though we don't get a lot of her, I felt I understood her enough within those beats. Yeah,
I feel like certainly I love the what I enjoyed most about Civil War and his appearance, Spider-Man's appearance, was just that dynamic you got to see between Aunt May and Peter Parker, and I was looking forward to seeing more of that here. And Marissa Tomei is not given a lot to do in this film. No. What she does well, but there's not that much of it. I feel like the way that the film ends, you feel like the next film there's going to be a lot more between.
With her, sure.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Side note, stay all the way through the credits. There's a fun little gem at the end, not necessarily part of story building, but it's entertaining.
Yeah, very true.
I had people leave, and I'm like,
what did you do? Your public duty and scream at them to
why
stop?
are you leaving? I have been in a theater when I knew there was something at the end and people were leaving. I'm like, don't leave yet.
I do have another point that I thought of, a positive note about this movie.
Yeah.
The soundtrack I thought was the best Marvel soundtrack I've heard in quite some time. The score was composed by Michael Giacchino.
Yes.
Great composer. I love his work. And I noticed several moments when they called back similar themes of Spider-Man, like a little Peter Parker Spider-Man theme when he was doing heroic things. When he saved his... no, I'm not. No, I just realized I'm about to go into spoilers there. When he did... They played his theme, and when he did some other heroic things, they played it again. And I really love that callback. I've been a huge... one of my biggest pet peeves about the MCU is that they just neglected soundtrack in general, and I've talked about that several times in the show. And I thought that was a big, not necessarily breakthrough, but a good step in the right direction for this movie. Now, I don't think it's on the same level as in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, because those soundtracks and themes were so iconic. But I thought this was very good. I thought, Disney normally plays it safe with their soundtrack. I felt like they took a small risk on this one, and I really think it paid off.
Well, just even with because he tweeted out a while ago that he was going to do a tweak on the Spider-Man, the original '60s Spider-Man cartoon with that, and I just like that.
That was at the opening, right?
It was. Yeah, over the Marvel credits.
Yeah.
So cool.
I don't really remember this. The soundtrack, I'm like, I saw it yesterday, but it didn't stand out to me, but I feel that's a good thing. I feel soundtracks should add to your movie, not... you shouldn't notice it in the sense of like, oh my gosh, there's music. I remember getting ahead, but Neil, I think it was you maybe said with Baby Driver last week or something that the soundtrack is constant or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was thinking of there's a movie In the Name of the King, which is not horrible, but it's not great. That one has music playing the whole time, but it's like soundtrack music, like more like a score. Oh my gosh, it just doesn't shut up, and you're like, turn it off. So I don't mind if music's playing the whole time, but you kind of it adds to your world instead of you going, there's still music going. Like that's when you know it's bad soundtrack / score.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice Spider-Man didn't stand out to me to be a superb soundtrack that I go, wow, this is amazing, but I enjoyed it. I generally was smiling the whole movie. I'm like, this is really cool. This is fun. And
it is definitely a smaller Spider-Man film compared to the other ones. I mean, he's basically in Queens for the most part. The stakes are a lot smaller than the other ones. It's not the world's on the line or anything like that. It's more, but I like that. It's Spider-Man just, kind of finding his place in the world right there. And you see, you can definitely see, like, the five movie arc that Kevin Feige has in store for him. So where he's going to be going next in Avengers Infinity War and then Avengers 4 and then his sequel, Spider-Man Homecoming 2 or whatever that
yeah, no spoilers in the chat, people. I saw somebody else say that, and not this terribly, but there are some people that are watching this. We try not to do any spoilers as well, because people like me don't always get to the movie opening weekend.
I'm just going to go out right now. I'm going to predict that Spider-Man's sequel is going to be called Spider-Man Graduation Day.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because I feel like
sure, this was Homecoming, and then that's jump ahead to Graduation.
Because
I dig it.
His second film, it takes place right after Avengers 4, and it's supposed to be your first new shot of what the Marvel Universe Phase 4 will look like.
I dig it.
So I feel like if you're going to have him he's graduating both in high school and also in terms of the Marvel Universe is graduating into something else. So remember this, Neil. Write this down. We'll see you there in 2019 when we all assemble again.
I think you're right.
I'll write that down, but I'm going to write down my prediction for the sequel.
Okay.
Spider-Man Chess Club.
Ah!
He's going to need to use his mental intelligence to defeat his next enemy.
And maybe it's because there
were some random funny moments too, like that. There were just funny, which I appreciate because as a fan of like the Spider-Man comic books and cartoons and the movies, I mean, I probably mostly attached to the cartoon, and then I've also read many of the comics. It's supposed to have a lot of humor in it because he's sarcastic, he's funny, he makes jokes, and I feel this really captured that.
Yeah, it's. I thought it was just a nice updating because you can't. I don't want something that was originally written and conceived in the '60s being brought so faithfully to the screen now.
Yeah, no.
It's so much different now.
Yeah.
That now we're seeing him enter in a cinematic universe that has been around since 2008. Seeing him enter in there, so I like the updating that they've done to his origin.
Ken Jack says the second film's going to be his junior year, not senior year. Well, technically, you could still have him graduate a year early.
Well, yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Because he could, have get his GED and just graduate early.
That's true. There you go.
He could.
He's on that.
He's very
program.
smart. Yeah.
The nice thing about it is where you're setting him as sophomore year. At least you have 2 more years if you wanted to as fertile ground for high school. Yeah. Because the other Spider-Man films, they always kind of name checked high school in the first film and then just kind of moved on past that in the subsequent
Well, this
ones.
kid actually felt like he was in high school, so yeah.
Yeah.
Though I think somebody also didn't like the fighting as much and felt there was too much with it, but I'm like, no, and they wanted more of like the high school, like that was. I felt there was a good balance between like realistically shifting between the two.
Yeah, I was fun with that. I never felt like I was getting anything. Listen, I mean,
I thought it was fun.
Yeah. So I mean, I already saw it twice, so I'm digging it.
Obviously, you really liked it.
I really did. So that was our number 1 film of the week. Coming in number 2, though, Despicable Me, another $33.9 million to its coffers.
Did not see that one.
Well, you missed out there. Still, just kind of whatever on that series. I feel like I should like that series more. I know I probably said that last week, and I just can't really.
Yeah, I heard a radio one, and they were like, "Oh, it's horrible."
It's not horrible, but it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, they just didn't care. Yeah.
Number 3, another film that Kari Lane decided to finally get on board and see in the theater, Baby Driver.
I saw that this morning.
Look at that, another $12.75 million.
Okay, so Baby Driver, I also thoroughly enjoyed.
Just know that Neil is here, so be gentle.
I know, right? The thing with that one, though, too, is not that it ends bad, but it doesn't, like Spider-Man, you leave it and it's like an up feeling, like yes. So Baby Driver, I thought it was like great high mode, and then the end was a little more like, okay. But if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel
but
like
that's okay. But my personal enjoyment of a film, I want to leave feeling up at the end, unless it's not supposed to be that kind of movie. But
I feel like he gave you your cake and got to eat it too. Because I mean, usually that type of film can end in one way or the other.
Yes.
And this one he decided, what if I combine both?
Yeah, I thought it was a good ending, and I did like the music, and I feel with this one, music playing constantly works perfectly because he's always listening to his iPod. I have an iPod Shuffle. I don't have an iPod, but I remember my friend having those and like swirling around. And yeah, I thought it worked because he's always listening. I am glad I kind of probably watched it after you all talked about it, because I did notice how there were actually quite a few scenes that had the long takes, which was so fun to watch.
Yeah.
To orchestrate all of that was so good. What were your complaints of what characters were you?
I felt like the Kevin Spacey turn at the end. I was just kind of like, all right.
I was okay with it.
Were you?
Yeah.
Seemed a little.
No.
Yeah, I didn't really. I was like, oh, that's an interesting turn.
Yeah, that's okay. I wasn't bothered by it. I didn't like that with like the one group, there's like the total asshole guy, and the second group had another asshole guy, and you're just like, that felt a little too like. I don't know, like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it makes you wonder. Just is if you're going to be doing a heist, you need to have an asshole in there. I guess is that a necessary ingredient to pull off a heist?
Yeah, and I mean, like, and not that all robbery criminal people should be happy, perfect people, but like John Hamm's character is, I get his kind of guy of like, I do these things and whatever, but I'm not like an asshole about it, you know?
Yeah.
I think how the ride is very fun. The driving's awesome. I must say, watching that movie and then having to drive for an hour, not probably the best plan, because then I'm like driving on the freeway. It's the same when I watch like Fast and the Furious, and then anytime you watch like a really car driving movie at Fast and you have to get in the car, you're just like, this was a bad influence. Yeah, it was fine.
Neil, have you only seen this once in the theater?
Yeah.
Will you be seeing it a second time or no?
I'd like to, but I don't have the time to. So probably just the one time in theaters for me.
But as soon as it's available for home viewing.
Oh yeah, no, I'll pick it up on the bluest of rays.
Oh, look at that!
And throw it onto my television.
And it'll be playing nonstop.
TY, I think it's TY in the chat. We just talked about Spider-Man, so if you're watching this live, I'm afraid you're just gonna have to tune back in later when it's online, because we talked about Spider-Man for a while.
Yeah, but just know that we liked it.
We did. Loved it. It's good.
Yes.
Baby Driver, I think, was also excellent. I don't know if I'd say, like, I loved it. Like, Spider-Man, I probably was like, oh, I love that. That was great. It was really, like, smiling most of the movie. This one I really enjoyed as well. It was a good weekend for the movies for me of, like, yes, I was happy to go, happy to see it. All the characters were good. I mean, okay, there's one thing of bad guys picking up guns scene. It was probably a dumb setup of sending those people to do that thing.
Gotcha.
Like, why would you send them when a situation can easily get out of control? You should have sent somebody else, or you should have gone too.
True. Well, anytime you send, I feel like if you're going to send Jamie Foxx into a situation, his character, it's not going to go the way you expect it to.
And what happens with him, I totally saw that coming with Jamie Foxx's character.
Oh, yes.
Mile away.
Which was frustrating. I felt like he didn't need to put such a pin on that. And I was like...
I was okay, but I was like...
Yeah, but you knew.
I knew.
Yeah, you're just
and
like,
I mean, I'm that person who I try not to get ahead of a movie. I try not to... I don't want to. And I know other people just do it automatically. But like in Spider-Man, going back to that, a reveal of who someone is, I didn't know super in advance, but I knew enough that when it happened, my audience was like, I'm like, really? Okay.
Nah.
I got that a couple beats ago, but...
Kari Lane's just on it.
No, that was anyway. But yeah, Baby Driver I thought was really cool, and just another cool movie to go check out.
Oh, look at that.
I liked it a lot. It was fun.
Well, it's got the Kari Lane seal of approval.
I know. I got lucky. I got a weekend where both of them, I was like, yes, I like these movies.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
And to jump back to Spider-Man for 1 second, for those of you who may have been worried who haven't seen it yet, The commercials and trailers will make you think that Tony Stark has a lot to do in this film. It's more.
Oh, no,
it's
he's very
definitely-
minimal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a Spider-Man film with some sprinklings. So.
Yeah, that is a problem when some trailers make you think characters are in it a lot. Like, I kind of wondered with Baby Driver, like, John Hamm's not in it a lot, but I noticed in the credits they're like, and. I'm like, oh, if it's an and or a with, that person's barely in the movie. I learned that early on, which is just, Albin says Carrie's just too smart for the movies. No, I've been with other people that go way ahead faster than I do. I just don't mind it if, like, I figure something out and then it happens, like, the next beat. I just don't want to figure it out, like, if it's a show, oh my goodness, like, I've seen TV shows where if the character's figured out, like, shortly after you do, great. But if I have to wait till the next episode for them to figure it out, you're just like, oh, come on.
Yeah. It's like, come
Your
on.
audience isn't stupid. Like, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So coming in number 4, Wonder Woman for Warner Brothers, another $10.1 million. Man, already domestically, $368.7 million. Doing well.
Yes.
Only a 35% drop. So
I think
holding
we're all
strong.
wrong with our top 5 looking at this.
I was really close.
Yeah.
I was about, what was it, 12 million for Baby Driver and 10 for
Wonder
Wonder
Woman.
Woman?
Yeah.
I had them flipped, so. It was pretty close.
Yeah. And number 5, domestically, not doing well, but Transformers: The Last Night, another $6.3 million. I mean, certainly that is the sign domestically not doing well, but internationally it's doing well. We're going to see more Transformers films, but I feel like Paramount's got to realize they got to get it together if they
Change
want
something up. Yep.
Yeah, to get that domestic goodness there. And I feel like a lot of that's going to come with having a new director on board other than Michael Bay.
I think it's Jalzin in the chat said, what's better, Baby Driver or Get Out? I don't like comparing cross genres because then it's different what you're going for.
Gotcha. But in terms of just like an enjoyable experience,
Satisfaction?
yeah.
Maybe Baby Driver, if only because Get Out was a... See, the problem is I saw Get Out when people are already talking about it, and then that tainted my opinion.
Gotcha.
Because I wasn't surprised with what the twist was.
True. And
At all.
Well,
And if I had been surprised, I probably would have been like, that was awesome. But the twist, I was like, did y'all see this other movie?
True. I know she's got her issues with keys and skeletons and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, they're different. I don't like cross genre comparing just because they're different kind of movies.
Which one would you be more excited about? If somebody like said, hey, I've got
what
I
do
got
you
a
wanna
DVD.
watch?
Yeah, I've got a DVD here for you of one or the other one. Which one are you gonna pop in first?
I was gonna say actually I would go with neither. I didn't love them so much that I'd want to like rush to watch them.
It's not that, I don't believe that was an option posed to you. It was either Baby Driver or Get Out.
Fine, I guess.
I feel like you want to see.
Well,
keep
Baby
saying
Driver, if only because Get Out, you already know what's gonna happen. But then again, you can watch to look for those things ahead of in advance now that you know, which I do like that in rewatching.
All right.
I'm like Neo. I'm like I don't have time to rewatch ones I've already seen. Very rarely, but yeah.
All right. Well, that was a very non-committal answer, Kari Lane.
I know, right?
The chat's excited.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. We got Yash. Get Out was good, not great. Mm-hmm. Get out of here.
But they also said not scary enough, but entertaining. Yeah, other than entertaining, but not super scary.
So internationally, guys, of course, the name of the game is Spider-Man. So Spider-Man: Homecoming has come out swinging, setting a new bar for Peter Parker at the international box office, opening on 23,400 screens in 56 markets this weekend. The John Watts-helmed reboot grossed $140 million. Speaking of John Watts for a second, very much, he did Cop Car with Kevin Bacon, and then he jumped in here into Spider-Man. Very similar to, I was reading an article where they compared him to Colin Trevorrow, who did Jurassic World and is now doing the last episode 9 for Star Wars. But basically, just comparing them to an example of somebody that did more of a small film and then jumping up to a bigger budget. Feeling that Colin did not execute as well with Jurassic World as John Watts did with Spider-Man: Homecoming. And I would agree.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel like I enjoyed this experience much more than I did Jurassic World. But anyway, it's grossed $140 million there internationally. So that's the biggest bow ever for a Spider franchise in the same set of plays at today's rate. It's landed #1 starts in 50 of its offshore debuts and sells 38% of rollout ahead, including such key markets as China, Japan, France, Germany, and Spain. Combined with domestic, the total global is $257 million. So look at that. It's actually tracking ahead of its Marvel cousins, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, And the previous incarnation of Amazing Spider-Man is a plus 29% above that, and Wonder Woman a plus 59%. It basically it came in well above the pre-weekend predictions, which topped out at about $110 million. So, and then also, I mean, Spider-Man was just dominating the charts, but we also did Despicable Me 3 internationally. It got $139 million in 60 markets, and it was bolstered by a record-breaking start in China. So basically, it has an offshore total of $298.4 million and a global haul of $447.6 million. So I imagine we're going to see some other Despicable Me film.
Probably. Made some money. It's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. So, coming up, of course, next week, certainly the big film. We got really one. We got one huge film. Yeah. We're just going to go with Planet of the Apes. Or, excuse me, War for the Planet of the Apes.
You can mention the other one.
I think we have Wish Upon. It's going wide. It's Ryan Philippe, but it's, who knows how many screens it is. We're just going to be focusing on War for the Planet of the Apes.
Sure.
3,800 screens from Fox.
Trailer, though, for Wish Upon doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
It looks... Right. It's like... Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to be wanting to see how Matt Reeves sticks the landing for this whole the closing his trilogy here for this film. And of course, there are, from what I've read, little nuggets that other directors, if they wanted to come out and continue the story, that possibility does exist. So we'll see what happens. But I've been enjoying this. This has definitely been a reimagining that I've really enjoyed. Have you guys watched both the films, Dawn and Rise?
I think I only saw the first one.
Weren't that excited about it?
Love it.
No, you didn't love it? I thought it was...
I like the classic one.
Well, there's something about the makeup for those classic films that it's just fantastic.
They're just fun in their way, and I thought, I don't know, I just couldn't get into the new one. So I think I saw the first one, was like, and then I didn't see the second, and now the third, I was like...
All right. Neil, how about yourself?
I'm a fan of these movies, but I'm more of a fan of Andy Serkis in these movies. I feel like, I'm also a very big flag holder for performance capture actors, Andy Serkis being the most prominent one between them.
Yes.
At least the most well-known. He started off with Gollum, he did Kong, and now he's done Caesar in the Planet of the Apes. His work in the last movie, was it Rise of the Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
Was fantastic. I saw some behind-the-scenes stuff of him talking with some of the other actors, and they came to him for hey, how should I act in this scene? And the advice he gave them was just incredible. And then watching those scenes played out, knowing how he was approaching that process was just fantastic. And I think that he is probably the reason why I want to go see this movie. For sure.
It's not Woody Harrelson's shaving his head?
No, I think Woody Harrelson's shaving his head. I love Woody Harrelson, but he can shave his head in any movie, and I'm not interested in seeing his scenes in this one. Oh, he just looks like he's going to be a mean guy. I'm interested wholly in seeing Andy Serkis be Caesar. I think it's fantastic what he does.
No, it should be. I would agree. Sort of performance capture is just such a not as recognized as it should be. Art form.
Girls Trip releases July 21st. Some people are asking about that.
Yes, don't worry, guys. Yes.
That's a little bit in advance, or is it?
Yeah, that's Comic-Con weekend.
I won't be here.
Well,
I was going to say, you're not here either, right?
No, well, next week we'll have we're taking a little summer hiatus. We'll be breaking
we'll
that all down.
We'll discuss that for y'all later.
Next weekend.
Yep.
But, yes, the summer's come, and Kari Lane's an important person and needs to travel the world. I'm not important. I'm just going to go home and cry for a while.
It's just continuing my reality show career. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
If you guys didn't know, I was on an episode of a reality television show.
Which one?
Finding My Father on the Oxygen channel.
Oh, yes, okay, yes. Look at this. She's a star. So check it out.
Right.
So, of course, we got War of the Planet of the Apes, what we've been talking about. But before we do that, we like to do a little box office rewind of somebody that's been in one of the films that we're going to be talking about. And just so happens to be, as Neil has been talking about Andy Serkis, I thought, why don't we take a look back at some of his work? Basically, we all know what his tops are going to be. It's going to be all his films with Peter Jackson. So I'm just basically getting away from that. All his fantasy, superheroes, action adventure films. We're going to focus on what's down there after that list. So coming in at number 5 for him was 24-Hour Party People, back from 2002. Wasn't that one with Macaulay Culkin in there?
I was gonna say I don't think I know that one at all.
$34.9 million. That's what that opened. $34,900. That's what that opened up. A very small opening for Mr. Circus in that. Number 4 was Career Girls from 1997. I haven't heard of that.
I don't think so.
Made $93,000. We also have number 3 is Inkheart.
I liked Inkheart. It was
2009.
Fun. Young YA fiction kind of made movie.
Oh, yeah?
I tried reading the book. I didn't get to finish it, but overall I enjoyed it.
That made $7.6 million. And then coming in at number 2, The Prestige.
I like that movie.
I really enjoyed that one. That came out in 2006, $14.8 million. I really liked the movie. I mean, I know it came out, so it was The Illusionist. Wasn't that?
They were both right around the same time, but I like both of them, actually. They were different.
Yeah, they were different, but I think if I would probably put The Prestige just only because, it hit a couple more of my little geek buttons about, to see who was in there and stuff. I mean, you get to see Tesla in there. I'm like, all right, that's...
Well, thinking magic, and jumping ahead a little bit, but did you see the trailer for Greatest Show on Earth? Is it Greatest Show on Earth?
Oh, with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
I did not get to watch the trailer. How was it?
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I kept on seeing like the teaser, like they're like, hey, it's gonna be dropping, and I never got a chance to watch it.
It looks cool.
It's is it all about Ringling Brothers or no?
Yes, the way the trailer goes is it's him not doing well with like a job something, and then gets the I'm like, where's this hair coming from? Gets this idea and then wants to start a show, and then it's about him creating the show, but it's also a musical, I think, from as I understood from the trailer.
Interesting.
And then it's more about the circus and stuff. So I think it's cool.
Should be kind of cool. Is it taking place like in the 20s?
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know the time. When it's supposed to be.
When it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like right now.
No, with the actual history of it, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I definitely got to go watch that trailer. And then we also got number 1 for Andy Serkis's non-fantasy superhero films, 13 Going on 30 with Jennifer Garner right there back in 2004. $21 million. I enjoyed that movie.
Which one?
13 Going on 30.
I thought it was cute.
Jennifer Garner, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. Side note, Flushed Away is awesome.
Is it?
That's the voice one. Yeah, it's really good.
I haven't watched
it was really
that.
funny. I remember seeing like an advanced screening or something and was like, this movie's really funny.
Is it done by Arden? Because it did like Wallace and Gromit and all that. Oh, interesting.
Very similar style. I think Hugh is a voice in that as well.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe? I forget.
But
I just remember I liked it. It was cool.
There's also the Adventures of Tintin that he did the voice of.
I think I saw that, but I don't think I loved that one. I think I thought it was kind of weak.
I wanted to like it.
Right, yeah.
More.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah, did you see? Yeah.
That movie, that year kind of got me pissed off at Spielberg for irrational reasons. It seemed like he was just Oscar grabbing for Best Animated, and then also War Horse came out that year, so it looked like he was also going for Best Feature. And I was like, Spielby, what are you doing, bud? You did Jaws. Come on.
I know. And I wanted that to do better because they had conceived of it as a trilogy. And the idea is that they kind of alternate who's going to be producing, who's directing. So I was waiting for Peter Jackson to get a shot at the directing chair for our next adventure.
Yeah.
But and there was talk about it maybe still happening, but I have not heard any new updates about that in years. So I got to imagine it's not happening at this point. Because I'd imagine if they were to come back from it, I mean, it's been 6 years since it, and it'd be at least another 2 probably. So I don't know if anybody's going to be that excited about it, which is a shame.
Oh yeah, that too. You heard that news, right?
What?
The actor who played Lafayette in True Blood passed away.
Oh yes.
Someone brought that up. Nelson. Is it pronounced Ellis? I think so. He had, it said a heart condition at 39, which I'm like, aw. Loved him on that show.
Adelia agrees with what we were saying there about Tintin. Yeah, it's that the movie was disappointing. And, we also read above that, we've got Ash saying, I have a bad feeling for Dunkirk.
I thought the trailer looks good.
That'd be interesting. Why the bad feeling?
The trailer stressed me out.
Right?
But
it is kind of
trailer,
stressful.
The trailer gave me some serious movie anxiety, and I haven't felt that since I saw Punch Drunk Love.
Now, what do you
which
mean?
Almost gave me a heart attack. It was just like the constant ticking in the soundtrack,
Oh,
and the way
yes.
that in the way that it was cut around that to give you a mood of like anxiety around these around the trailer, around these
Sure.
soldiers. Really, it really unnerves me for an unnatural reason, and it's probably not at all how the movie's gonna play out.
Yeah.
It's probably just a trailer.
Yep.
But in the same vein, it's like, well, that's what's trying to get me to watch the movie, and right now it's not wanting me to get to watch the movie.
But does it get you excited to see the movie, or you're like, no thanks?
Nah, not really. I mean, on the other hand, also, I'm not a huge fan of Christopher Nolan, but that's just my preference. So, I mean, I might see it, I might not.
Yeah. Right. I think you'll see it for the show, Neil. That's what you'll do it for. You do it for the fans.
Well, then let's hope I lose the bet.
Just bet $1, Neil.
Albin's pointing out that we don't really have much of a bet going on this time.
No, that's true. Yeah, it's sadly
You're
just
like,
gonna be
nope.
War of the Planet of the Apes. I think the 21st though, next week, or actually next week when we're gonna be gone, but we can do.
Wait, we're here next week.
Or where for
We
the
have
next
one
week's
more.
box office bet.
Oh, yeah.
By the time we
Yeah.
Oh no! But before we get into our official box office bet for War of the Planet of the Apes, we got to do
Yes.
our top 5 for next week. So of course, War for the Planet of the Apes coming in at 3,800 screens. Do we think that's going to be? I mean, we're coming to the end of of a trilogy. Do you think that's going to be exciting enough to knock Spider-Man off number 1?
No.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think so either.
Because also, okay, it's also, I would say the problem with War of the Planet of the Apes is like depressing, heavy war movie. Spider-Man, fun, action, entertaining. Like people culturally at certain times are like not as excited to watch. So I think, it's escapism in terms of going to the movies. So I think Spider-Man, people are like, yay, this is going to be something fun. I think War of the Planet of the Apes is like, heavy,
Well, yeah, but you want to see the ending to the story, and people really been enjoying it
but
so
I meant
far.
like not making it number 1.
I agree,
No.
Carrie. I think you're exactly right. I think people are gonna just want to escape for a little bit, and they can't really. I mean, they can, sure, they can do that in War for Planet of the Apes, but it's so much easier with Spider-Man.
Right.
And it'll happen a lot quicker in as far as the movie going experience happens.
Yeah. Like, I think I'm going to go with Spider-Man's number 1. Number 2 is War of the Planet of the Apes. I'm going to wait. Spider-Man, War of the Planet of the Apes. Despicable Me probably is going to still hold on to 3. I want to say Wish Upon's going to do well because we haven't had a horror movie in a little bit.
I don't think it's gonna.
No?
No, I don't think so. But
Okay,
Who
then
am I?
Baby Driver and Wonder Woman.
Neil, do you differ on that assessment?
Yes, I do. I actually have the same top 2 with Wish Upon at number 3, and then Despicable Me and Wonder Woman.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I'm not feeling that vibe from Wish Upon. I don't think it's just gonna. Although it only has to do better than Wonder Woman's at 10 million right now. It's gonna drop down to probably between 6 and 7 for the following week. So it's only got to do better than
Maybe
that.
I'll be the one who goes, no, it's not there.
I'm gonna go with Kari. I'm gonna go with Kari Lane. I'm gonna go with you. I'm going with Kari Lane. She, I'm riding. I'm hitching my wagon to your star.
Oh, boy.
That's right. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to do the box office bet, though, and of course that's going to be for War for the Planet of the Apes. As always, the box office bet works that we're going to be betting usually on a film chosen by you at the box office, you in the chat. But since there's only really one film coming out for big, huge, wide release, we're just going to be betting on War for the Planet of the Apes. Or I keep calling it War. And so, we're going to all bet. Whoever's closest gets the bragging rights of being prognosticator amongst prognosticators. The loser, the one that's furthest away from its actual box office gross its opening weekend, will have to go see the theater, see the film in the theater, and tell us all about it. Now, just for your information,
Yes.
Carrie and Neil, and for those of you watching and listening at home right here, for the first 2 in the trilogy here, Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn did $72.6 million its opening weekend, and Rise did $54.8 million. So,
Okay.
a little bit of diminishing returns in terms of that.
Okay, fine.
there you go.
What was the last one made? How much?
The last one made 54.8. So it's opening weekend. End results are pretty close to each other in terms of what its lifetime gross was, but a little bit of a difference in its opening weekend here. So
Courtney says 75. I want to say it's DH. I feel this is like a test for your eye exam. DH says 83.5. Stardrew is 60-70. Come on, guys. No,
Stardrew.
You can't do that. No.
Hard number, Stardrew, every week with
Yeah,
this.
True Samurai says 82.
Ooh, 80. I can't.
Joyson says 78. Delia says 58. Oh, actually, if that's number one, what was... Okay.
Spider-Man.
You know what? I'm going to... Probably low, but it's okay.
All right, so yeah, Spider-Man came in 117, so even if it dropped off, or it's going to be...
Zaya says 85. What?
Neil, do you have a number?
Sarah says 81.
I do indeed.
Yeah.
Ken Jack 75.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like...
Go ahead, Neil.
Spider-Man's got a good word of mouth. The reviews have been doing well, so I feel like it's not going to have as big of a drop-off. It's coming in its second week.
No.
So, all right, so last one did 54.
I know, right? I'm teetering because I'm like, well, does that mean it's going to keep doing worse? Or is it better because it's the conclusion? It's not the conclusion, though, right?
Well, yeah, this is at least for Caesar's story.
Okay,
it's the
fine.
conclusion. So, but that's tough. I mean, it could pull like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, where first was great, second opened kind of a little lower, even though it did better in the end, and then third opened up huge because everybody goes like, "Oh my gosh,
fine.
the second was so great."
Go
But
little.
still,
Yeah. Rohan says 63. Ren says 77.
all right, I'm gonna stick with this. Okay, all right, Neil, you good to go, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right, would you like to reveal your bet?
I would love to, Frank. My bet for War for Planet of the Apes opening weekend is $68 million.
Ooh,
Okay.
going big. All right.
Bridget says 65.
Kari Lane.
60.
Ooh, I went 48.
My first thought was 50. First I thought 40.
Yes.
Then I went 50. Then I went 60. And then I was like 45. Fine, I'm just going to stick 60. Damn
60.
nabbit. I know.
Wow.
I feel that.
Well, you're safely,
You're safely in the middle there,
Yeah.
Carrie.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Good point.
So,
I'm trying.
wow. All right, man. This is going to be an interesting bet.
And Spider-Man was 117, right?
Yes.
I'm going to be looking. I was all stall, guys. We didn't look at our who got the closest for last week.
Oh, that was me.
No, people out there.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. We'll stop about that because, we want to be able to... Because, we were promising a phone call.
I don't think we're going to get that, but...
We got to get our act together better here on Box Office
I know.
Breakdown because that was only something we didn't even talk about before. Like, we got to get a phone call.
We can find it and see.
You know, that's true because next week is our exciting summer hiatus.
Yeah. Okay.
So, all right,
see.
we're going to get our act together. We're going to make sure we
117?
do this.
All right. Neil, do you have stuff to write numbers down? I was like, I don't have something to write
Yes.
down.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Kinda.
Well, let's see if we have anybody close.
We're a well-polished
It's
machine.
above. Scrolling through. Well, here, I will call it out, and then people can say it. Because I'm like, I can't remember it. Or someone would be like, that's closer. CJS Spiker says 111. I feel that might be the closest. Archit says 123. Stardrew said 136. Cameron said 107. Sarah said 125. Vigilante says 190.
Ooh, Vigilante.
Tao said 125. Straight Edge said 138. That's not a number. And Jason said 128.
So it looks like the first one you read
think
was our
111 is closest?
111
No, I
was
think it was Tao, 125.
For if it's 117.
Oh, wait, no, you're right. Yeah.
111.
Yeah.
well,
All right,
I mean,
so that would be CJ Spiker is our closest person with 111.
I mean, if we want to be technical, guys, it's 117 million.
Yes, so that's 6 off.
15,000. So,
Yeah. Well,
which means that-
123 is closer than the 125.
That's true. So that's
Which-
only 6. from a 111. So I feel like it's a little less than 6. So whoever's 123 is actually closer.
And then
111 is just $15,000 short.
Ooh.
wait, 111. I cannot do
Because
math.
111
It's
is 17, 117 is 6, but there's actually a 15,000.
Wouldn't that be a? Oh, okay.
So then if you're going, so it's actually.
Would that be 5 difference? I'm not
Albin
doing
brings
math
up a
late
good
night.
point. We should
Yes.
wait for the actuals to come in.
Alvin is always the voice of wisdom.
All right, fine,
What?
we'll do that. And I'm like, it's too. I'm not great with numbers normally, and late at night, not gonna happen. either.
It's a recipe
Listen
for
now.
disaster.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, just we're going to talk
We'll
about that
look
next
for
week.
next
Yes,
week.
we'll look for next week. You know, we should
Yeah.
really,
We'll
amongst the
tweet-
three of
fine.
us.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll do it.
Well, we should do a phone call. We have not done a phone call
Yes.
in this iteration of Box Office Breakdown, so we should do a phone call next week.
Yeah.
Or we could do a couple if we're feeling so bold, and fortune favors us with some excellent callers like you listening to us and enjoying us in the chat live.
It'll be our summer party.
That's right. So Kari and I, and Neil, we're going to be taking a couple weeks off from the show. We're both going to be at Comic-Con.
Woohoo,
And Kari's
Comic-Con!
traveling, doing some traveling with some family. I'm going to be out on a production for a few weeks after that as well. So we'll both be gone. So we thought we'd take a little downtime. We'll be back up and running, though, August 6th with just myself and Neil. Kari will be joining us in just a couple weeks after that when she's
Yes.
back from her cool worldwide jaunt.
Actually, Frank, it'll be just you and some engineer on August 6th. That's the day I get married.
Well, I thought you said no, because we already talked about this before, Neil. You said you were going to come in rather than celebrate like a honeymoon. You were going to come here to engineer the show. We'd already talked about this, Neil. Please.
Oh, I forgot our conversation. You're
Yeah.
right, Frank. I'm going to postpone my travel plans, and I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to engineer a show.
Well,
All right.
August is a good month because that's my birthday month.
There you
so.
go. You
Good
know, all
choice,
right.
Neil. Good choice.
I'm making the executive decision there. We're probably just going to take 3 weeks off then. We'll make our hiatus there because, we got to have. Oh, and Neil, you're doing a honeymoon
Actually,
right away?
yeah, we'll come back right
No,
after
no,
my
right.
birthday.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
right away. We honey later.
And you moon right away.
Later,
You
but
moon-
I'll
moon
be
the
out.
crowd.
I'll be out the following Sunday for other reasons.
Okay.
I should really get you guys my schedule.
Yeah,
I know
that would have been great.
we need all chat.
As always, Box Office
It's
Breakdown
summer.
is
Crazy. It's so
a
much
well-oiled
going
machine
on.
here. But that, you didn't come here to talk about us trying to get our act together. What you came to talk about was the movies.
Yep.
And we've done that. We've talked about the movies. Thank you, everybody, for hopping in the chat, sharing your thoughts. We appreciate it there. You make this show, as always. We cannot stress that enough, how much fun you make this show to do. So thank you for joining us every single week. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to continue to enjoy this, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, throw a thumb up at it, throw 2 thumbs up if you feel so
Well,
inclined.
technically 2 negates your first one, so gotta do 3.
Well, then you gotta do 3. You gotta go do 3 thumbs up. That is
The
very true.
thumb.
Yeah, and if you're watching this even after the show's aired live, feel free to comment, as Kari so eloquently points.
Down below.
Do you have a question you'd like to ask, in addition to just your box office speculation? Any other question?
Do we have any ones this week? What's a random superhero that has no movie yet that probably won't get one that you would want to have one? Like, not the big ones that already have it. Like, we're talking some more underground or underrepresented superheroes.
Neil got very excited about that
He
prospect.
got so excited. He's like, oh my gosh.
There you go. Speaking of Neil, if you want to share your thoughts about which superhero you'd love to see, Neil, where could they find you?
You can find me at places where people can be found at the Neil Plumley, THENEILPLUMLEY. Let's have a good time. And thanks for all the congratulations I'm seeing in the chat. I appreciate it, guys.
Oh, look at that. Kari Lane, how about yourself?
Yes, you guys can find me online on Twitter and Instagram, continue the discussion, and see fun, weird photos and videos. And I just posted a new updated hosting reel on my Twitter, so you can watch that. Though this episode did not make it in, but Frank
so.
is in my reel, guys. He is in it. Oh my
What?
gosh.
This is the first I'm hearing of
Yeah,
this.
whatever.
Holy cow! I cannot
Couple
believe
other
this.
AfterBuzzers made it in too, so yes, you can. That would be at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE, and Comic Con is quickly approaching, which is crazy. Oh my gosh.
Well, speaking of that,
Yes.
Kari loves to cosplay when she goes down to Comic-Con. But, maybe she's, thinking about ideas. Maybe she needs a little brainstorming, a little help to get the wheels flowing. Feel free to tweet Kari Lane your ideas of what she should cosplay as at Comic-Con. Now, this is going to be classic cosplay, so don't be throwing ideas about, she's got to go and buy all these
Oh
ridiculous
yeah, no,
things
I
to
don't
make.
have money
No.
or time to go buy stuff.
Exactly. So things that she could easily do using stuff found around home. So I'm curious to see what our fans would suggest would be great
boy.
cosplay choices for you.
Yeah, well, we were, since you're going there. No, I was gonna say one that I've thought of bringing back because I did it a few years ago. That I'm pretty sure I have everything. Is do my Tomb Raider cosplay again because that one was pretty cool and it'd be fun to do as well. But I don't know yet. I need to email them. There might be an opportunity with a costuming booth that works there that was like, hey, if you're going on Scram or Talent, and I'm like, I need to email them.
Oh, awesome. Look
Maybe,
at that.
because then that'd be like, if any of their suggestions, I'd be like, well, actually, they have them.
Yeah, that'd be
We'll
perfect.
find out. I'll let you know.
Oh, things we'll find out. We'll be able to update you on next week.
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me or not. You know, this is your choice. I'm not going to force you to. I mean, I'll cry if you don't, but I mean, that's completely your choice. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us here. We'll see you back here next Sunday for the summer finale. Maybe?
Yeah. Summer hiatus.
Summer hiatus finale.
Yeah.
There you go. Box office breakdown right here on Popcorn Talk. See you next time. Go
See
watch
ya.
a movie. Go watch 2.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.